Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast. This is the show that dives into the big question, what's in it for me, for both the business and its customers? On each episode, we sit down with a business owner or leader to uncover their why, their values, and the stories that drive them to grow their business. This episode is sponsored by Russ Birch, commercial banker with Frost Bank in Plano, Texas. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is my friend Caleb Hall with Fit for Life Wellness. How you doing, Caleb?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
Very good. Glad to have you on this show. You're joining us from Winston-Salem, is that correct?
Close enough. Mount Airy, North Carolina, which is about 30 minutes north of Winston-Salem.
Excellent. So for those of you who are map people, you know where he is now. Excellent. So tell me about your business. What do you do and who do you serve?
Absolutely. So, Fit for Life Wellness, we take a new approach to workplace wellness, and our program really focuses on accountability, structure, and sustainable habits that benefit both the employee and the business equally, and it's all done through an app-based system. So, it's easy to use, scale, and maximize employee well-being.
That's terrific. So we're all using apps now. So it would make sense that a fitness program would be app-based versus having to be present in person, which is still valuable, or pick up
Absolutely.
the phone. So tell me the history of the program that you developed.
Right, yeah. So I've been in the health and fitness industry for a little over 7 years now. My goal has always been to help as many people as possible, to see to really focus on living a healthier life. So in my time managing gyms, I was able to focus firsthand on the biggest problems with wellness programs. So
Yeah.
most of the time, wellness programs are a short 6-week challenge, like a step challenge or a quick weight loss challenge, or it's even a discounted gym membership, which are all good things, but they lack structure and accountability for long-term implementation. So with Fit for Life, we teach easy to implement habits that will stick with you for the long haul. So I've had tremendous success with in the past with habit coaching, and it's led to several people learning small sustainable habits they can focus on each week to lead to a healthier life. And so that's really how I got started.
Yeah. And that really makes sense because anytime you put a program in front of someone that is, a Herculean effort. I mean, because literally sometimes it's just even a few steps forward, is you're changing your routine, right?
Right.
So forcing them to say, okay, we're going to go a really long way here. So talk to me about the average plan. Like when you put somebody on a plan, what I'm saying is when someone starts, how do they start? And then, how do you keep keep them moving, I guess, in the right direction?
Right, absolutely. So, I'll just tell you a little about the program and how that
Great.
works a little bit more in depth,
Thank you.
and that will give you a better idea of how that works. So, we focus on monthly themes and we break them down also into weekly educational bits. So, these monthly themes will focus on anything from stress, sleep, energy, mobility, all of the things for overall health. And we break that down into those weekly educational bits that are almost like YouTube shorts. And so that will help keep engagement high and quick and painless each week for the employees. So inside the app, they have access to that short, which we release on Monday. They also have their own food tracker, which is easy to use, workouts based on their goals if they choose to do so, and easy connection to their phone or watch for tracking steps, heart rate, or sleep. They can do all of that inside of the app. But one of the things that sets us apart is we actually have one-on-one communication with a certified wellness coach to help guide them with implementing their habits each week. And one of the biggest pluses to the program is it's built to grow with your business so it stays affordable as you scale and hands off for HR and your leadership team. And so it's all based around our core method. That's our values as our company, and we focus on customization, organization, results, and education.
Wow. It sounds like you've checked all boxes, especially from an HR standpoint. You have the technology and also the personalization.
Right. And that was one thing I really wanted to do. I've seen so many programs fail over the years. And when I started building this, I wanted to focus on all of the areas that have failed for other companies. And it all comes down, we can talk about all these different things, but it comes down to accountability and structure and sustainability.
Yeah.
And over the years, that's something I've really been successful with working with people one on one or working with people while I was managing gyms. Is I'm good at coaching people in habits, and habits will lead to a life of a longer life and a healthier life.
Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this.
A woman in Austin was depositing a cashier's check at the bank, but she deposited it right into a storm drain. The frost banker found another way in. Time out! So he went into the hole, like a cave diver.
A real spelunker of the streets.
What about the check?
It's money in the bank.
Ka-ching!
Ka-chang.
Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles.
Let's talk about successes. In your time you've been doing what you've been doing, let's talk about some people that have truly transformed under your watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one person that comes to mind. I know this isn't necessarily because I work with businesses mostly, but this is an individual, and
Yeah.
it's very dear to my heart because he became a really good friend through this process. His wife actually reached out to me on Facebook because he was afraid to reach out himself, and he weighed a little over 360 pounds. He was in a car wreck when he was in his early 20s, and
Oh,
long story short, when I met him, he was almost 40. So he's been struggling for several years with needing a hip replacement. He's had a knee replacement. He's had surgery on his forearm, on his right arm as well. So he has limited movement in several areas of his body, and he needed that hip replacement. And the only way that he could have that hip replacement was if he got down to 295 pounds. And so we're talking with someone who's walking with a cane, can barely go to work some days, and actually has to take time off of work to, just because he can't get out of bed some days, and he needs to lose over 70 pounds. And so when I met him, it was a learning curve for both of us. I had never worked with anyone like that, and so I basically was just telling him like, "Hey, let's do what I know will work, and we will do what we can as far as getting your diet cleaned up, and we will do the movements we can, and we'll see what we can make happen." And so, long story short. I worked with him for a little over a year, and in that time, it came off slowly and slowly, and we got down to right at 298 just a few weeks before he was planning to have his surgery, and they went ahead and gave him the okay at 298. I believe he actually got down to around 287 before the surgery, which is even better.
yeah.
Um, and through that process, when he actually went to do his pre-op before he had the surgery, that's when they found a condition with his heart, and he actually, it's something they would have never found if he would have
No.
if he hadn't have lost that weight.
Wow.
And so he had to have open heart surgery, and really, they were saying his time was limited on that issue because it was something no one had noticed, and so he had to have open heart surgery. During that process, they found a tumor in his brain. So then he had to have surgery to remove the tumor, and then he
Wow.
finally had that hip replacement. And so from the time that he actually was able to have the hip replacement before he actually had it was another 9 months, because in that process we found some of these other issues that were life threatening that he would have never found if he um, if he wasn't focused on his health and getting that weight down.
Yeah.
And
It,
so,
it, it might have killed him in short order.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And every time he sends me a text, he texts me about once a month, and he tells me how grateful he is for me, and it's just it keeps me going. Stories
Yeah.
like that, I can go on for hours and talk about people that I've worked with and how it's transformed their life. But he is my number one um person that comes to mind when you talk about one person that really keeps me in doing what I'm doing and helping people. And actually, I talked to him about 2 weeks ago, and so now he's almost finished with physical therapy. And once he finishes there, we're going to get him down. We're going to get him down to 220 now. We're going to get him
Wow.
where he wants to be now that he can use both legs. He still has some limited mobility in that in his arm, but apart from that, he's going to be a new man, and it's an amazing story.
That's exciting. Wow. You're right. I mean, he decided. I mean, his wife reached out because she loves him,
Hmm.
right? But
Yes.
if she hadn't, I mean, he may not be here with us today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the awesome thing about this is so he works in a bank. He sits all day long. Um and it was easy for him to be content with that because that was his lifestyle with work. As long as he's able to function, go to work, he was fine for many years. But the quality of life that he has now and the way that he sees his days, this is why I want to focus on businesses, because there's so many businesses where people are sitting all day. There's businesses where people are not able to focus on their health, but they're able to actually just do their job, but not live a better life outside of work. And I want to see the entire workforce change to where they focus on living better and have bigger goals and bigger dreams. And now he can dream bigger because he went through that process.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of him. Shout out to Lauren.
Is there? Let's go back to the app and the development of the app. What is it available on Android, iPhone, and then let's talk about that first, like from a usability
Yeah.
standpoint.
So to access the app, I will actually have to reach out to the business. So I have to import the employees into the app.
I
So
see.
you can download it, but it's closed off, unless you have an access code. And so I talk to the businesses first before we put anything like that in place.
Gotcha. And they usually have some type of proprietary, and that they need for HR to be involved. They need to be able to track, I imagine, because they can gamify it, make teams and do all these wonderful things internally. But first, they have to get qualified and go from there.
And
So go ahead.
And so we actually do the gamification like you're
Oh,
talking about.
terrific.
We'll actually do the incentives. We try and keep this as hands off for HR as possible because they have enough to deal with already. And if we can help with their health culture, the health and fitness of their employees, we can check a lot of boxes for them in one program. And that's really what we wanted to do with that.
So you mentioned, HR. So a lot of, what you're talking about has got to ring some bells for people in HR. Let's talk about the size of companies, the type of companies you're working with, and the ones you want to onboard, the type of people you want to work with. Tell me about who you're targeting and who you're working with now.
Right, absolutely. And so we want to work with companies that have at least 25 employees, just to make sure that we can gamify that. It gets kind of hard with 10 to 15 employees to break off into teams and have those incentives in place. But really small to large size businesses, 25 employees or more. I mean, we can work with 1,000, 2,000. We can make it work, however, and I know it sounds like it would be a little more difficult when you have more employees, but honestly, I don't think so. I think that we can break them up into teams and they'll work together even more in that process. And so as far as numbers, like we were talking about a minute ago, that we can provide the engagement and we can provide who, well, I mean, not any of their personal information, but who is really engaging more than others, and
Yeah.
and if from a percentage standpoint. And so small to large size businesses is really who we look to work with. And we've really been focusing on the manufacturing space. And one of the biggest reasons is that they have a lot of physical laborers in those positions who rely on their health to get to work and do the job every single day. So we talk to a lot of manufacturing businesses, but realistically, we can work with any type of business, just 25 employees or more.
That's terrific. And so it's infinitely scalable from what I'm hearing. It's really
Hmm.
100, 1,000 doesn't matter. You could actually do more the merrier.
And so the way that we structured this too is as far as pricing tiers go, it grows with your business so that,
Mm.
you have 1,000 employees. It's not eating you out of your profits at 1,000 employees.
Yeah, so the economies of scale benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
terrific. So let's say I'm an HR person in my business, and I know we need this program. For how do we reach out to you? What's the best way to be reached? Website, phone number, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot on LinkedIn. It's just
Hmm.
Caleb Hall, and I have my Fit for Life Wellness logo as my banner and in the back of my profile picture, which is helpful for people to find me. But you can also reach out via email as well. It's Caleb at lifelongfitness.net, not .com, .net. And phone number is 336-443-6693. And so if you do have a company that is interested, or a company that's interested in talking about the program, I'd like to see where your struggles are, because I like to cater this to the business.
Yeah,
It's not just a one size fits all program. We take pride in breaking down your business and where your business struggles, and we want to help you in that area.
that's really terrific. And for those of you who are watching or listening, if you didn't have a chance to write that down, don't worry. Just scroll down and whatever platform you're on, and everything Caleb has provided is going to be there, so you can reach out to him. Parting thoughts, Caleb. Your mission, your goals. What's really getting you moving, and what do you enjoy most?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll start by saying we all can benefit from a healthier life. It's done wonders for me, and we would do an hour and a half podcast if I talked about all of how it's influenced and benefited me in my life, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And I really want to just bring that to the world. I want the world to see that we can live a better life and a healthier life, and how much more we'll enjoy each and every day if we're focused on taking care of ourselves first.
Well said. Well said. Well, Caleb, I appreciate you coming on today, Caleb, and sharing your passion for what you do, the important work that you do. A healthy workforce is a better performing workforce, and plus just healthier people in general. So thanks for being on the show today.
Yes, I appreciate you, buddy.
This episode was sponsored by Russ Birch, commercial banker with Frost Bank, Plano, Texas. Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.